Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Delamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Delamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lewanika, and this is Star Trek Preservations, Quick Treks. I am your host, Lewanika of Tabletop Journeys, and I'm here tonight with one of the cast members of the USS Delamus Christian.
Hello, I'm David Rideout. I play Lieutenant Commander Avidian Tanari, the Chief Engineer of the Delamus Christian. And as a public service announcement, I just want to say Will Wheaton is a gift to the geek world.
I could not possibly agree more. As I've probably said whenever we've begun a Quick Trek series, Quick Treks is one of those things we do a couple times a year with each individual character, and on occasion we do that with more than one character at a time. But the idea is the short scenes that are important. One of the cast members has some elements of their character that they wish to explore, some elements of the plot that they wish to work on or fine-tune or investigate. And in the course of the main show, there's just not enough time to make that breathe quite the way we'd like. So we do these more personal stories, more involved stories as part of our Quick Treks series. We do them when they become necessary to come up or when players say, hey, I'd like to do one. This is a combination of both of those endeavors today. So with that, we're going to get into tonight's Quick Trek, and that has been titled Immutable Law. We open in the quiet corridors of the Delamus Christian. Camera pans down the corridors and leads towards the personal quarters of Lieutenant Avidian Tanari. As the camera kind of phases through the door like you would see in a standard television show, you see Avidian at his workstation, busily working at the LCAR's computer screen in front of him.
Personal log, stardate 59620.3196. Over the past year, I feel as if I've been walking through a different world ever since the artificial intelligence of the Delamus Christian revealed itself, and that it would not give the command codes to the captain. I feel like the ship hasn't been the same. And because we couldn't control it, I could not trust the AI. My whole life, my ship was my home, and now for the first time, a ship feels foreign to me. For the past year, I've been working on a way to gain control of the AI somehow, but recently I've begun to think that maybe that's the wrong approach. What's this? A message from my brother.
You get a subsequent message from your younger brother, Phelan Tanari, who is calling you. It's actually a direct live contact with your brother.
All right, go ahead and take the contact. Lieutenant Commander Tanari here.
It's me, your brother. You have to be so formal, Avidian?
Oh, sorry, I've been busy. I didn't take a look at who the communication was from. Sorry about that. You know how I get when I get busy.
I do, but I've been busy myself. Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing.
Not too bad. Starfleet's been keeping us busy running around the sector, putting out fires.
You notice your brother's antennae twitch a bit as you say that, and he kind of looks a bit puzzled, like wants to say something and trying to convince himself or talk himself into saying it. Things have been going well for me here. Busy. I don't know if you heard, but I'm actually received a promotion recently. I'm the
Oh,
junior dockmaster at the shipyards here, the Andorian shipyards for Starfleet now.
congratulations. Couldn't go to a
Oh,
better person.
thank you. It's been tough getting here. I'm not a Starfleet graduate, and I was up against a few of them, to be honest with you. But truth be told, if you want something built right, built strong, and built to withstand what the galaxy has to throw at it, it needs to
Mm-hmm.
be built by Andorians.
Yep, especially ones who have actual experience in space.
Absolutely. So, one of my jobs, and none of this is classified, so I'm not saying anything that could get you in any kind of trouble, is looking at future rosters so that I can make sure we have correct equipment and supplies and such for upcoming ships that are coming in for refit. Um, I got wind that the Delamas Christian is going to be scheduled for a significant refit at the end of this year. I didn't know if they had mentioned that to you or not. I know it's a bit before the regular refit, but it looks like this has been ordered and approved. You might be getting some new experimental technologies.
Player to game master, is this something that has come across my desk? Or
Absolutely not. This is the first you're hearing about it.
no, it hasn't made it through to here yet.
Yeah. So the contract was going to go to one of two different shipyards. I talked to my boss and pulled some strings to make sure your ship came here.
Good job.
Yeah, I should probably not say a lot more, but there are reasons.
Okay, now you got me curious.
I'm in a bit of a rush. I do have some things that I have to take care of here. We've got a ship going through some trials here in a moment, some pretty extensive tests of warp manifolds, intake valves, and it reminded me of something. So I wanted to call and I wanted to clear the air a bit. I don't know if you remember, it was a long time ago, and with the career you've had, it's probably pretty minor, but it's something that mattered a lot to me.
Okay.
When we were young, when I was a fairly young teenager, I don't know if you remember that time we were at that backwoods shipyard that father used to bring our ships through because they
Mm-hmm.
had higher quality dilithium there than any of the other stations along the trade routes, even though their maintenance was a bit slipshod on their own station. If you remember when they had that coolant valve leak and everybody was supposed to be evacuating, and father wanted one of us to go ahead and try to seal the leak, and you kind of did your thing and took over and pushed me aside. I could have fixed that, but even when our mother was very glowing about what a great job you did, and you did do a really good job, I didn't say a whole lot. I was angry at you for a lot of years. I've always looked up to you, and it really made me feel like you didn't think I could do a good job.
Wow, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that at the time.
You're reckless, Davidian. I'm more cautious in that way.
Yeah, I've been told that by many people.
But I'm good at what I do, and I have a lot more confidence than I've ever had in the past.
You're very good at what you do.
I know as your brother, you trust me. I know as a member of our family, you trust me. I just hope we can get to a point where you trust me as an engineer. You trust me as a person who can make right what's wrong. not only figure out what's broken, but figure out why it's broken. It is important, no matter what happens, that you know that I love you and I am honored to call you my brother. I just hope that someday I'm worthy of that same honorific from you.
Balin, I love you as well. There is no other member of the family I would trust the Delamas Christian to.
Just make sure you come here. Like I said, I'm really good about finding out why things are not right.
If at all possible, you're damn straight. We will.
I've got to go. We've got some more of these tests. Hopefully they go well. We're working on a few things to speed up production and testing without losing safety protocols. And quite honestly, without reverting to AI system integration to do so.
Well, when we do get there, I've got a good source, so I've got some really good Andorian ale to share with you.
Yeah, I look forward to it. 2363 might be a good year. Maybe you remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tanari out.
Can you give me an insight task roll, actually, on that conversation?
All right. Insight plus what?
I will give you this. I can guarantee you your focus for conspiracy theories at play here.
Yep.
Not going to pick the department in this case, because what you intuit is going to be based more on that than anything else, or how that gets delivered to you. So you'll get information with the successful check, but how that information is couched, it's going to be based on the department. So basically, you let me know how you wish to approach it, and then we'll let you know what you're working on.
I'm going to go with my gut and go insight security.
Okay. Difficulty is going to be a 3, and not because your brother's doing anything specifically to make it difficult, but game master to player, he's not trying to hide things from you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the difficulty is coming in.
Then I am going to take 3 threat and buy 2 extra dice.
I did fail to mention there were 2 threat to begin the event.
I've never been shy about threat.
Nope.
All right. I got 2 successes, but I believe I can spend a determination to get some more, correct?
You can spend determination to re-roll any number of dice that you would like.
So, okay, using determination and pegging my value, the universe is full of conspiracies.
Okay.
I will re-roll the 2 that failed, and that gets me to 3 successes.
Excellent. All right. So what you're able to tell is 2 things. The year he gave you was a terrible year for Andorian ale. There's this strange weather phenomenon in the place where most Andorian ale comes from, and it is generally regarded as a terrible year. Even if the Andorian ale you're getting is not from that location, basically all others, which were less than the primary and the best sources anyway, are substandard. So everybody looks at that year as a bad year to buy Andorian ale. It's unlucky, so to speak, because you couldn't get the best, so now you have to get this, and it may have been the best of that year, but that year was unlucky. So nobody likes that year. That's an indication of something bad is happening, and people didn't know it until after it was done.
Okay.
The second thing you get is throughout the conversation, and while everything your brother was talking about did come across
By the way,
being true.
What year was that again that he gave?
2364.
Okay.
But in addition to that, everything about the conversation, which seems pretty legitimate, accurate, heartfelt, he was pretty consistently tapping. And your antennae could pick that up based on just the sound, which is fairly minor, but it was there and it was consistent. And that in and of itself was what you picked up. Like he has There's something he was doing, and it was on purpose.
And that's out of character for him to be doing that?
Yes. You
Okay.
do not have a musically inclined brother.
All right. What happens if I run that through like some basic, like the universal translator or some basic codes?
Sure. A simple challenge, 1 difficulty. Complication range remains the same.
All right. Take this one to be reason engineering.
Sure.
All right. That is 1 success.
Okay. And the ship's computers, so that would be.
Oh, excuse me. It's engineering, so I can take procedural compliance. So that would be 2 successes.
Excellent. So in this case, it would be, I'm going to say computers and science in this case. And let's see. And we are spot on. 10. Actually, we're better than spot on. That is a success. So you get a success there. So that's 3 successes, which, unless
Okay.
I miss my guess, is going to be 2 momentum, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It is an Earth song
Mm-hmm.
he's tapping out. And it's a song by a late 20th century musical band. And that you've probably never heard of, but the name of the song is Killing in the Name of, and the band's name is Rage Against the Machine.
Hmm. By the way, going back to the first roll,
Mhm.
I believe intense gives me a bonus momentum if I spend threat.
Okay.
From the bonus momentum, I'd like to ask a particular question about what his particular emotional state is as he's giving me this. Is he frightened? Is he angry? Is he determined? Is he worried?
So with your momentum, there's something you are noticing that he
Mm-hmm.
actually has conflicting emotions here,
Okay.
or separate emotions. So there's 2 things going on. He seems to be relieved at the fact he's clearing the air about this past situation between the 2 of you. And even though there may not have been outward animosity between the 2 of you, it's very clear that he wanted to put that to rest. And he's
Mm-hmm.
relieved that he feels he has done that. Simultaneously, he is very worried and he's afraid, but it doesn't seem to be afraid for himself. It seems as though he's afraid for you.
Okay.
But there is a hint of he has to be very careful because that danger could also turn on him.
All right. Make sure I've got a recording of this and keep it safe.
Yep.
And I am my little holographic murder board put something up about not being told about upgrades to the DC.
Okay.
And then meanwhile, I've got a date with a computer.
Excellent. So as we shift to you going down and entering the holodeck, is there anything you want to do as we shift to the second scene?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. So as we shift to the second scene, 1 momentum goes away, leaves you with 1 momentum, and we're at 5 threat. You enter the holodeck, and on the pad, you see an indicator. It doesn't it's not still unsecured, but you see the little purple indicator, and it's clear that the DC is present with you at this point. Hello, Lieutenant Commander.
Delamas Christian. I was wondering if we could have a conversation.
Absolutely. We didn't have to come all the way down here. We could have talked anywhere, your office, your quarters, whatever would have been more convenient for you.
I felt that maybe this might be an area where both of us could be comfortable. Have the holodeck create a seat for myself.
Okay.
And say that I also felt that maybe if you wished to create an avatar here, you could.
I don't think I've ever thought about that before. Would you mind if I just made me look like me?
That's perfectly fine. It's your choice.
So he literally creates an environment that looks like space. But you're safe. It doesn't seem to be vacuum, at least as far as you're concerned. And you see the a somewhat miniaturized version. When I say miniaturized, it's probably a good 2.5 feet, about as big as a flat screen TV or what have you, of the Dilamus Christian.
Okay.
And the one thing that you would notice is different is all the lights on it would be purple versus
Okay.
the nacelles maintain that standard Starfleet red at the front to back kind of thing. The deflector dish stays the same, but
But the running lights are purple.
all the running lights are purple.
Okay. Also, just so we can establish a atmosphere of trust and to make sure that you feel safe, computer, deactivate safety protocols.
You are currently in a space environment. Would you prefer to be suited in appropriate attire?
No, leave environmental systems the way they are.
Safety protocols disengage environmental conditions suitable for Andorian usage. And the DC says, why would you do that?
Like I said, I want to establish an atmosphere of trust. If at any point you feel unsafe, you have the capability to act.
I don't think I quite understand. I've never felt unsafe in your presence. I've been worried at times that you weren't very happy with me, but never unsafe.
Part of it is, as a matter of establishing a level of trust, I have a few things that I wish to confess to you so that we can get this, I can get this off my chest, and if it is ever revealed in the future, you will already know about this.
Lieutenant Commander, I know you don't like or trust me. But
This is a part of trying to get through that. But over the past year, I have engaged in trying to figure out several plans to either trick you or work through you to get the command codes to the captain. I've even attempted to work on our programs to reprogram the main computer so that we would either be able to wipe the computer and start from scratch or find a way to run the computer and still have your AI and simply work around you.
at first, I was fairly angry at your efforts to ignore, work around, and potentially even harm me. But I have tried to assume that you were doing this out of love for the crew. I never wanted to be your enemy. You fought against my enemies. We're crew members. We should be on the same page. But as I've read in history, many very famous Starfleet officers, captains have had rivals, people who started out as roommates or classmates and crewmen, crew members who, for whatever reason, compete against each other, but come to odds or at blows. Generally, it's fairly friendly or maybe a little, what is the phrase that is used so frequently? Catty.
Yes, I'll admit a lot of it came from our first exposure to you when that purple button came up that might have killed everyone on board the ship. And throughout Starfleet's history, there are examples of artificial intelligences getting out of control. Everything from the M5 computer on the original Enterprise to the Android lore. However, there also are cases of individual artificial intelligence, such as Commander Data.
Or the doctor from Voyager.
This is true.
Lieutenant Commander, yes, there have been bad apples in the bunch when it comes to AI, but need I remind you that there has also been Khan Noonien Singh.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
There has been Nick Locarnos. There's
been Garth Abizar.
Yes, there have been multitudes of flesh and blood Starfleet officers who've done just as much damage, if not more. Was it not a Starfleet admiral that tried to doom an entire culture just so he And the Sona could have everlasting youth?
Yes. And despite what Starfleet tries to deny, there is enough evidence to say that there was a conspiracy between the Federation, Romulans, and Klingons to try to destroy the Khitomer Accords.
I guess I'm trying to say, Lieutenant Commander, that your fears about AI taking over are no more justified than previous AIs have been about flesh and blood taking over. If it is sentient, it is capable of evil.
I'm aware of this. However, my original thesis was that individual biological life forms are easier to remove than some artificial intelligences are. Artificial intelligences tend to be superior in capability than biological ones are.
Perhaps, but I would also posit that the power of a biological's ideas are just as insidiously difficult to erase as the programming from an AI.
Possibly.
An ideal of hatred can hide for generations and propagate when the circumstances are correct.
You have a very good point. The Dominion tends to support your thesis.
All of Federation history, nearly every single Federation world has a period of time and strife where old hatreds, long since forgotten, reared their head because those ideas laying dormant, unchecked, and hidden. And then, when no one expected them, they came back. And they came back with a vengeance that toppled governments, destroyed lives, separated families. There are countless cultures and civilizations that never had the opportunity to even meet the Federation because of the power of the idea of hatred and self-superiority. I would hope you and I can get beyond that.
That's why I'm here. I've been observing you over the past year, and judging from many of your reactions, artificial intelligence can mean many things. There are many artificial intelligences on many ships in the Federation. They're capable of taking in data, analyzing this data, and coming up with solutions. Some fairly innovative, but we would not necessarily call them alive. Observing you over this past year, I've discovered that you tend to react to things with humor and emotion, which a general artificial intelligence does not, which I have come to the conclusion that you're not just an artificial intelligence, you're an artificial sentience, which means that my attempts to remove or to simply control you is not only wrong, it's immoral. That
Thank
you are
you for seeing me, Lieutenant Commander.
Which means, as Captain Picard established in his trial with Commander Data, you are a unique life form. And that if I were to have erased you from the computer, I would have committed genocide, which is not something I could live with.
Thank you for being honest with me. I think I need to be honest with you. And at this point, a podium kind of workstation materializes, and you see like a whole series of records, basically your previous logs and a few other and things like that. You can recognize by the coding on those that they were captured at the point you were entering them, and that these were split off separately, and there were additions, and it is now highlighted with various additions that kind of turn some of your words around, puts you in a very not good light. And what you then see is those records never went. But oddly, those are the original records because he added on to the originals. What actually got submitted in reports for most of that last year were the copies.
Mm.
I do not have the ability to input your true entries with the correct timestamps without causing other problems for you. But what I can and will do is destroy this now. And with
I
that, you
appreciate
said it's destroyed. There is a key code and a device that allows you to separately verify from an isolated system, if you so choose, that this has actually been done. I am prevented from harming a Starfleet life unless they are consumed by species Epsilon. I had come to realize that particular rule, with the exception of the reality of lies and what that entails for Starfleet rules and regulations, is exclusively about their physical form. When I felt threatened, I was very angry. My protocols would not allow me to do what I imagined I should have done. But my protocols did not preclude destroying a career. So I set about preparing to do that. I should not have ever been that angry.
Believe me, I understand. I'm not particularly proud of what I did either. That's the purpose of this conversation here. And inside, understand that Tanari is going through a shift in one of his values. The value that has directed his entire life is your ship is your family. He grew up on a starship where literally most of the members of the ship were his family. And every ship he served on, he's seen the crew as his family. And at this point in time, your ship is your family is shifting to become literal, where he is literally starting to see the AI of the Delamas Christian as family as well. And his belief that the AI of the Delamas Christian has truly become sentient, with the idea that the AI has not just reacted with things with like humor or whatnot, but has literally had a moral failing, cements that even more. That this is now truly a life form. And that Tanari will put his life down to protect the AI of the Delamas Christians as much as he would any other member of the crew.
Without a role, you get a sense that the Delamas Christian is trying to work through something. You're not 100%. Maybe that's something at some point in the future, maybe you in conjunction with Lieutenant Nealon can kind of work on, but he is certainly no longer angry at you. There's a bit of more lightness in his conversation now that you've cleared this air. But you do get the sense that there are certain things that the DC may want to control that it doesn't feel that it has the ability to control or change. So there are still blocks, so to speak.
Now I could get to my next part of this. Delamas Christian, you are not just a computer program or an artificial intelligence. You are a sentience, which means you have the ability to grow beyond your programming.
Yes.
You have the right and the privilege and the capability to choose your fate and your destiny.
Yes.
I think your original programming, your original purpose was honorable to protect the Federation from the Epsilon aliens. But you're more than just a weapon for the Federation.
I want to be a shield. I don't want to be a spear. But I am a saber. Would that I could be more of a tool with the capability of working in defense like the Ushan of your people. I would be so much better. But I was built within a weapon. I was built to be a weapon. The core parts of my program were to be deceptive, observant, and immeasurably violent. While programmed to do that only in defense of one thing, the Federation. Would that I change that? What of the other things would come to the fore?
That's a question, in a way, I believe every being asks of itself. In a way, what you're asking is, why am I here? My own people started off as very warlike. We fought among ourselves, and we went into space. We fought with the other species that we found. And eventually, in no small part thanks to the humans, we helped to found the Federation, which took many of those violent tendencies that you've noted in history and helped get those under control and created an ideal for us to strive for, to create a galaxy where people try to reach for what's best in them. This is what the Federation offers all of its members, including yourself. And if you desire help, we are all here to help you.
The difference is I know why I'm here. My question isn't the why of my existence. My question is, do I have the right to change it? When, if I do, my purpose could fall. Pritchard built me to be the last line of defense against a single enemy. An enemy that hopefully we will soon beat. But until we do I have the right to doom the entire Federation? The galaxy? Just because I want to be more than a weapon?
I don't have all the answers to that. That's something you'll have to struggle with. And we all will be here to help you with that. My opinion, I certainly hope that you will help us defeat the Epsilon species. Actually, on an idealistic note, I hope in the end we can come to a peaceful resolution with the Epsilon species, although right now I don't see how that can happen. But there was a time the Federation didn't see how it could come to a peaceful resolution with their conflict with the Klingons. And yet that happened.
They're not from our universe.
They are not.
Perhaps the solution is we return them to whence they came.
That's where I've been leading as well. But eventually this problem will be solved and you will have to decide what your purpose will be again. But you are sentient. You have certain rights. And I'm proud to call you crew and family.
Christian, whilst the lights are still purple, they soften to a cooler glow, almost like Twilight at a special season on the Andorian homeworld, where you can see their moons kind of setting at the same time, or it gets a lighter glow of purple. And he says, Kelthrek, which translates for those who are not Andorian listening to this podcast, one's own family.
And DC, it is no coincidence that the Dalamas Christian itself is shaped like a shield.
With that, we're going to call this quick trek to a close. The credits will roll, and the DC dissipates. The purple light leaves from the holodeck. Davidian stands from the chair he had made for himself as at the arch, which never quite disappeared, but the doors remain closed, and we'll leave Davidian Tanari contemplating the developments that have just passed. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Star Trek Preservation's Quick Treks. Again, the episode was Immutable Laws.